Governments tried quarantines. They cut ash trees out of entire landscapes. They told people not to move firewood. The beetle kept going. It did not sting anyone. It did not bite anyone. It did not carry a human disease. Then researchers found its trail in the death records of 15 states. More than 21,000 extra people died in counties where this beetle spread. Not because the beetle attacked them, because it removed the trees that were protecting them. The insect has a beautiful body, which feels rude under the circumstances. It glows metallic green. It measures about 12 millimeters long. It belongs to a family people called jewel beetles, because apparently even ecological disasters can come lacquered. Place one on a penny. It fits. That is the whole animal. The damage covers a continent. Foresters first noticed emerald ash borer near Detroit in 2002. By then, the beetle has already crossed an ocean, most likely inside wooden packing material from Asia. It does not arrive as a swarm darkening the sky. It arrives as freight. That detail matters. A visible invasion invites a battle. A hidden invasion becomes a math problem no one solves in time. The obvious answer seems simple. The adult beetle eats the trees. It does not. The adult nibbles small notches in ash leaves for a few weeks. A healthy ash can lose those leaf edges and keep living. The adult lives in the open air, shines in the canopy, mates, and disappears into summer. The killer stage has no shine. It has no wings. It works under bark. A female lays as many as 300 eggs in cracks along an ash trunk. Each egg hatches into a pale, flat larva. The larva chews inward, through the bark, into the tree's living transport layer. Scientists call this layer phloem. It carries sugar from leaves down to roots. For a tree, that layer acts like a food pipeline. The larva eats the pipeline, not because the tree has grown old, not because drought has already ruined it, because North American ash trees fail to recognize this attacker fast enough. Asian ash trees evolved beside emerald ash borer. Their chemistry reads the damage and responds. North American ash trees carry some defensive tools, but those tools stay quiet during the first attack. The tree misses the alarm. Inside the trunk, the larva carves a winding tunnel through the living tissue. It packs the tunnel behind itself with waste and sawdust. One tunnel barely matters. 10 tunnels matter. Hundreds of tunnels turn the tree's circulation into a city where every road has collapsed and every grocery truck has vanished. The leaves still catch sunlight. The roots begin to starve. Then the crown thins. Branches die from the top down. New shoots erupt from the trunk, as if the tree can still negotiate with the damage. It cannot. Most infested ash trees die within 2 to 4 years. That seems slow until a city has 50,000 of them. The beetle leaves one signature behind. In spring, the adult chews its way out through the bark. Its flattened back and rounded belly create a clean D-shaped hole about 3 millimeters wide. A tiny door, a forensic mark. By the time people find it, the beetle is already left. That one fact helps explain why the response failed. Officials do not chase a bright green adult. They chase larvae hidden inside trees that may still look alive. In 2004, Canadian officials try a drastic move. They create an ash-free zone. They cut every ash tree across a barrier 5 to 10 kilometers wide. Healthy trees, sick trees, trees with no visible beetles. The plan makes brutal sense. Remove the food, and the invasion stops. The beetles fly over it. Some ride around it in firewood and logs. Humans move them from campsite to backyard, from nursery to neighborhood, from one county to the next. A quarantine requires millions of people to understand that a piece of firewood can contain the future of a forest. The beetle needs one mistake. Federal agencies ask for $60 million in 2006 to help contain the spread. Congress provides $8 million. Biology does not care about the remaining $52 million. The quarantine fails. On January 14, 2021, the USDA ends the federal domestic quarantine for emerald ash borer. The agency does not declare victory. It changes strategy because containment no longer matches the invasion. Nobody stops it. They start managing the wreckage. Winter should help. A half-inch insect should not survive northern cold. Its body contains water. Water freezes. Ice forms knives inside cells. That should end the beetle. The larva changes its blood. As autumn arrives, it folds into a J shape beneath the bark. It empties water from its gut. It floods its body with glycerol, a natural antifreeze, reaching concentrations around 4 molar. That number means the larva's internal fluid shifts towards something closer to a chemical survival mixture than ordinary insect blood. Researchers have measured emerald ash borer larvae supercooling to minus 50 degrees Celsius, minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Picture that temperature. Put skin there. Put lungs there. Put blood there. A human body would not adapt. It would become a container for ice. The larva waits. Not because it produces heat. Not because the tree keeps it warm. Because its chemistry delays freezing. Winter does not kill the invasion. Winter saves the next chapter. Spring returns and the adult beetle cuts through the bark. It feeds lightly. Then its nervous system locks onto color, shape, and shine. Male emerald ash borers track the reflective green of females. The trigger has such crude precision that males drop onto dead females, decoys, and sometimes other males if the visual pattern matches closely enough. The male folds his wings and falls onto the female's back. A courtship strategy if one must insult the word courtship. Mating lasts far longer than in related native beetles. The male transfers sperm packed in bundles of about 20 cells, wrapped inside a protective sheath. Then, the female moves to another ash tree and places the next generation into the bark. This is not chaos, it is a production line, and the line runs through cities. Urban ash trees cost money when they die. A dead tree in a remote forest can fall into leaf litter. A dead tree over a sidewalk threatens a child, a car, a roof, a power line, a lawsuit. Removal crews bring chainsaws, traffic cones, bucket trucks, cranes. In 4 Midwestern states, researchers estimate emerald ash borer damage between $13.4 and $26 billion. $26 billion from an insect that weighs less than a paperclip. A small city like Albert Lea, Minnesota, faces roughly $800,000 over 20 years to manage about 12,000 ash trees. That figure does not buy wonder, it buys removal. Then comes the part that makes the beetle larger than forestry. Researchers study 1,296 counties across 15 states. They compare the spread of emerald ash borer with human health records. They find increases in cardiovascular deaths. They find increases in lower respiratory deaths. The numbers reach 15,080 extra cardiovascular deaths, 6,113 extra respiratory deaths, 21,193 people. 21,193 not bitten, not stung, not infected. 21,193 people living where tree cover vanished, where shade disappeared, where summer heat gathered on pavement, where leaves no longer filtered the air. The study shows a strong association, not a beetle walking into a hospital. That distinction matters. The pattern still holds. A beetle kills a tree. A street loses shade. Air carries more stress. Human bodies answer. Forests do not stop at the forest edge. The beetle has enemies, too, because nature rarely gives one horror the whole stage. Woodpeckers learn to hear food beneath bark. They hammer dying ash trees and strip away the dark outer layer until the pale inner wood shows through. Foresters call this blonding. If an ash trunk turns blonde, the tree has entered its final paperwork. For the larva, no escape route exists. It lives inside a flat tunnel it made with its own mouth. The bird opens the ceiling, threads in a barbed tongue, and pulls the larva into daylight. That death comes quickly. The wasps take their time. Scientists release parasitoid wasps from the beetle's native range to fight the invasion. One species attacks eggs. Another attacks larvae under thinner bark. Spathia scalene carries a long needle-like egg-laying organ that reaches through thicker bark. The wasp lands on the trunk. Its antennae read vibrations through wood. It finds the larva chewing below. Then it drills down, pierces the soft body, injects venom, and lays eggs. The young wasps hatch against the beetle larva. They eat the body that feeds them. No villainy. No mercy. Only a smaller life using another life as a pantry with nerves. This should make the story feel balanced. The beetle has predators. The wasps arrive. The trees get help. The damage has already outrun the rescue. Biological control can slow emerald ash borer. It can help some young ash survive. It can give forests a second chance in places where any ash remain. It cannot put 100 million trees back into the ground as adults. A tree may need 40 years to become meaningful shade. A larva can erase it in 3. The emerald ash borer also belongs to a wider pattern. Bark and wood-boring beetles have become tiny agents of continental change. The mountain pine beetle kills in a different way. It carries blue-stained fungus into pine trees. The fungus spreads through the water-carrying wood and helps block the tree's plumbing. It also weakens the resin defense that might trap the beetle in pitch. One beetle enters. A fungus follows. A forest dries from the inside. Across North America, mountain pine beetles and their fungal partners have helped devastate more than 100 million acres of pine forest. Different beetle, different tree, same lesson. The most dangerous part of an insect may not look like force. It may look like timing, or chemistry, or global shipping, or a campground visitor moving firewood because it seems wasteful to leave it behind. The emerald ash borer does not need speed when humans provide distance. It does not need strength when the tree misses the signal. It does not need venom when a city depends on shade. That is the reveal inside the title. The beetle killed 100 million trees because it arrived where the trees had no practiced answer, entered the one layer they could not lose, and spread through the one species that kept helping it travel. The ash kept making sugar. The larva kept cutting the line. The first symptom looked like thinning leaves. The final mark looked like a 3mm D, half an inch. 100 million trees. 21,000 people. Half an inch, and the landscape changes. Some ash trees still stand. Arborists inject them with insecticide every few years, turning trunks into patients. Researchers search for resistant trees, hoping some individuals recognize the beetle fast enough to survive. Wasps hunt beneath bark. The future of ash may come down to recognition. Not size, not age, not beauty. Recognition. A forest can die because one body fails to identify another body in time. Somewhere under a strip of bark, a pale larva keeps moving through the green dark, writing a sentence the tree cannot read until the sentence is already ended. There is another beetle that survives a different kind of death. A frog swallows it whole. The beetle passes through the stomach, crosses the intestine, and exits alive from the other end. Next video.